Welcome to the Roaming Yeti podcast. I am your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci. And this week we're diving back into the Addi Files. The Addi Files are when I want to dig a little deeper into a topic, but I don't have an expert available to interview. So I send Agent Addi, our Yeti mascot, out to investigate and bring back her findings. Welcome to the Addi Files. We had heard of stories that there used to be a theme park in Ellicott City, Maryland, which is right down the road from us. And now the pieces have been restored and put on a farm. So we've been meaning to check it out, and we finally did it this summer. We went to visit the pieces of the Enchanted Forest that currently reside on Clark's Oak Farm. But I decided I wanted to start digging deeper. So I sent Addi to investigate more about the Enchanted Forest in Maryland and also similar parks throughout the country. She returned from assignment with the following field notes that I will share with you this week. Are you ready? Let's roam. The Enchanted Forest, located in Ellicott City, opened in August 1955, 1 month after Disneyland did in California. The park was designed as a storybook-themed park by Howard and Julianne Harrison and is thought to be one of the first theme parks built on the East Coast. As I mentioned, the park was themed around nursery rhymes and fairy tales. It had animated characters, basically really early animatronics, a petting zoo, some walk-through houses, a boat ride, and slides. And some of the attractions that were there were a giant house shaped like a shoe, based on there was an old woman who lived in a shoe, and people could walk through the house. There was an Alice in Wonderland maze. Sounds familiar. Sounds like Disneyland Paris. Little different scale, I have a feeling. A Hansel and Gretel inspired gingerbread house, Little Toots train ride, the Three Bears house, a Humpty Dumpty that was larger than life, and a petting zoo. But as lifestyles changed and larger amusement parks opened, like Hershey Park and King's Dominion in Virginia, Enchanted Forest started to lose the competition for kids' attention. In 1987, the Harrisons sold the park to a shopping center developer. The developer promised to keep the Enchanted Forest open, and did for a little bit, but it was never quite the same. The park was completely closed down in 1995. The attractions sat behind fences at the Enchanted Forest Shopping Center and really was abandoned until 2004, when the owners of the land agreed to have the structures and figures moved to Clark's Oak Farm. The moving and restoration started in 2005, and it took over a decade and about $500,000, in a lot of that in donations. But more than 100 pieces had been brought to the farm and restored to their former glory. In addition to the Enchanted Forest attractions, the farm has a petting zoo. It hosts birthday parties, holds seasonal events, and more. And if you're close to Clark's, you should definitely check it out. We had so much fun. The nostalgia and just seeing the old pieces, just how they have been restored, and seeing kids running around enjoying them. It's really a fun place. So if you are driving through Ellicott City or anywhere near Baltimore, make a little trip out there and check it out. But after I posted that we went to Clark's, one of our listeners mentioned that she went to a similar park in New Jersey. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for letting me know this was a thing. This is another reason I sent Addi out. Where else were there similar parks, and why? Why did there seem to be so many opening? I had Addi focus on parks that pulled inspiration from fairy tale and other popular storybook characters. So the first one is the one that Sean actually mentioned. It's called Storybook Land. And it's in Egg Harbor Township in New Jersey, which is near Atlantic City. And it opened on May 20th, 1955, and is therefore one of the oldest continually operating theme parks in the U.S. And the park has a lot of attractions dedicated to different fairy tales or nursery rhymes, including Cinderella, Snow White, Mother Goose, Alice in Wonderland, and so many more. And some of the rides at Storybook Land have the cutest names. Bubble the Coaster, the J&J Railroad, Tick Tock Clock Drop, Happy Dragon, and they also have a carousel there. I mean, what park is not complete? You know, you have to have a carousel, right? Those are the amusement park rules. In addition to the rides, there are storybook character sculptures, playground areas with a splash park, and scenic pathways to walk around. They also have events in the fall and the winter for the holidays. And I am really bummed I did not know about this. I've been to Atlantic City. I vacationed on Jersey Shore a lot of times, and I definitely would have stopped in here rather than hitting the boardwalk or the casino. So I'm going to have to add this to a to-do list for sure. Next up, Addi found Children's Fairyland in California. And Children's Fairyland is another storybook theme park for young children, and it's located in Oakland, California. And it opened on September 2nd, 1950. That makes it one of the oldest theme parks in the U.S. To the point of Walt Disney visited Fairyland and used some of the ideas from his visit when building Disneyland, even hiring Fairyland's first executive director, Dorothy Maines, and a puppeteer from Fairyland, and his name was Bob Mills. So, I mean, this park had a strong impression on Walt in what he was doing, which is really cool, you know, and the fact that this park's still running as well says a lot. So in 1994, the park received nonprofit status, which is great because it allowed it to get grants and donations to keep maintaining the mission of providing a safe and fun environment for families. And that way it didn't, you know, it was so smart to do that, because then you're not, you know, you won't be sold to a shopping mall developer. But this park features, again, storybook sets that bring kids' favorite stories and characters to life. It has a Jolly Roger pirate ship, an Old West Junction, a dragon slide, Peter Rabbit's garden, Happy Dragon, and so much more. And there are a few rides in the park as well, including the Jolly Trolley Train, which is the oldest ride in the park. There's a mini Ferris wheel called Annecy's Magic Web, and resembles a spider web from the African folktale. And they have 2 carousels as well. So you can also find animals and gardens to enjoy in the park. They have lots of events, even including some just for adults over 21 nights. And it just looks like a really wonderful place for the community. And I'm glad that it's still going strong. It's getting the donations, and it seems to be thriving. So it's really nice to see. If you're in the San Francisco area, you know, maybe head over and check it out. Next up is Storyland, which is located in Glen, New Hampshire, and it opened in 1954. And as with the other parks we've talked about, it was designed to bring nursery rhymes and fairy tales to life. It has over 30 attractions for families, including a petting zoo, games, play areas that even include some water features. The addition of water features seems to be a fun thing that a lot of the parks have done. And this one seems to be a little more ride heavy than a lot of the other ones. The other ones had more walkthrough areas and sort of practical sets to walk through and see the characters and stuff. But Storyland seems to be a little more ride heavy, but still targeted towards families. It has it has some cute names for the rides. It has a wooden roller coaster called the Rorosaurus coaster, Polar Kids coaster, a Huff, Puff, and Whistle railroad, a log flume ride called Bamboo Shoots, antique cars, and more. And also this park has live shows and even has a character breakfast that you can sign up for and go to. In addition, they have a lot of events throughout the year. And again, they have one of these sort of nostalgia nights, over 21 nights, like the Children's Fairyland in Oakland does. Just sounds like a neat opportunity. It sounds like there's food trucks at a lot of them, beer and wine available. So it's neat that they're going both for the families and kids, but also, hey, adults come at night and have fun too. Now, the next one is it's not total storybook fairy tale, but I just thought it was important and fun to add. Addi found us some information about a chain of amusement parks, and they were themed around Christmas and Santa, and they're called Santa's Village. And if anyone's been to any of these parks I'm talking about, please reach out and let me know. I would love more information and sort of a firsthand experience. But so Santa's Village, we're going to talk about the one in Illinois and New Hampshire. So the first one opened in East Dundee, which is a suburb of Chicago, on April 20th, 1959. And the second one was in Jefferson, New Hampshire, and it opened on June 18th, 1966. So both locations were designed to provide a family-friendly experience where you can celebrate the spirit of Christmas all year long. The location in Illinois has changed hands since opening, but it is growing and adding attractions. And the park there even has a water park. It has a lot of similar rides to other parks, including bumper cars, coasters, cart rides, and they actually have a virtual reality attraction, trying to bring current technology and stuff up. And at the holidays, they have a drive-through experience at the park that you can see the lights, see music, synchronize and stuff. And you can even stop to get out of the car and get a picture with Santa. Seems like a really fun event for the community in all Illinois. The park in New Hampshire also has a water park and the rides that are found in Illinois, but they seem to carry the holiday theme throughout every attraction and a bit more. They, from looking at the two and what Addi's told me, the Illinois one, they have their stuff, but the New Hampshire one seems to really take the theming a little more serious, which I think is, if you're going to be Santa's Village, you should really take that theming serious. Why not? The New Hampshire park has seasonal events for fall and Halloween, and of course for Christmas and New Year. And they do something to limit the amount of tickets sold so the parks don't get overcrowded. So, which is great. But if you're going, make sure you get yours online before just, heading out and thinking you can pop in. And, like I said, from the field notes, it seems like New Hampshire has definitely stayed truest to the original mission of Santa's Village. So why did so many of these amusement parks open in the 50s and 60s? It seems like they all did. And interesting enough, some of them within the same time or even earlier than Disneyland. So I was really curious, why were these opening? But Addi brought me back. She brought me back a few reasons. So let's dive in. The economic boom after World War II saw people with more disposable income that they were spending on leisure activities, including theme parks and amusement parks. The baby boomers, the growth of young families created a larger audience for this kind of family entertainment. Another big one was suburban development and car culture. As people moved out of the cities and purchased cars, it just became easier to visit these small amusement parks, which were also built in suburb areas or more rural areas because they needed a lot of land. And so people living in the suburbs and having cars, they could go visit. Family entertainment. Small amusement parks caters to families, and they provided a safe and enjoyable environment with rides, games, and other entertainments for the whole family, kids and adults. And nostalgia. As we've learned, many of the small amusement parks were designed with the theme of storybook characters and fairy tales. And this nostalgic appeal, along with the novelty of new attractions and experiences, really attracted families looking for a unique outing. It was new, so it built upon stories and characters that they knew, but also really provided this new environment. So it was really cool that was available. And, you know, there was a low barrier to entry compared to larger amusement parks. These small parks were, they had lower operational cost, and they made it feasible for entrepreneurs to open smaller amusement parks with a smaller investment. They didn't need a ton of money to do it, and there was competition and diversification with the small amusement parks. They needed a unique and and niche themes that sought to differentiate themselves from the larger competition, like the Disneys and the Hershey's and Six Flags and stuff. So it's funny that a lot of them were doing niches of the similar things, but because of location, it worked for them. So I really wish I lived near one of these active parks. We had a great time walking through what is left of Enchanted Forest, but to see it in its glory and to see rides running an active park would be so much fun. Huge theme parks are great, but I mean, I just think these smaller parks are just filled with so much from our youth, and I really want to check them out. I don't know, maybe I need to plan a road trip. I don't know. I'm sure there are many more parks that are similar, and if you know of one, please let me know on social media or fill out the contact form on the Roaming Yeti website. Like I said, I would love to hear some firsthand experiences. I'd love to go visit and check some out. So I hope to visit some on this, and then any that you guys know of, please let me know. But thanks for joining me as I shared Addi's field notes today on the history of these theme parks, based on fairy tales and storybook characters. And I hope these episodes inspire you to get out and roam, even in your own neighborhood. So please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you like what we're doing here, please leave a review and a rating. Also, to help support us, please head over to yeti2shop.com to pick up some Roaming Yeti merch with our Addi herself on that merch, and sign up for our newsletter to join us in our monthly bingo challenge. I'll talk to you soon, and keep roaming.